they use the towers with the chip implantations, and they can beam thoughts into your head. They can use this for subliminal messaging. How many people over the last few years, serial killers who said they heard voices telling them to kill, and it all plays a part of this chip implantation. And these cell towers go. If they're not cell towers, it's, yeah, sure, some of them are used for cell towers, but they put these configurations on them for harp towers to be able to use this harp and for the elf technology that they have. And so what the Lord showed us through the orgone is that if you place orgone around your house, outside and inside your house, and do your towns and your cities and your countries and your areas with it, that it dumbs down the effects of these towers. And what it also does is that they can't penetrate your home through this. The sleep abductions will stop if you're being abducted in your sleep. The aliens don't like it. Demonic realm doesn't like it. They don't like it because orgone is an energy of pure positive source energy. And so they can't stand to be around it because they produce DOR, which is negative energy. And so with the orgone producing positive energy, it combats the negative and evil energy of the DOR that the evil realm produces. And I know a lot of people say, well, that's, this is New Age stuff. It sounds New Age. And, that's just the way it is. The Lord talked about us being light in the darkness all the time. And He talked about good and evil, which is positive and negative. And people say, well, what's in the orgone? You say, those crystals. And, well, that's New Age. That's crystals. And I'll tell you what, if you have a problem with crystals, you have a problem with heaven, because heaven's just loaded with crystals. And if you look at the Ark of the Covenant, and the Lord had showed me this last year, how the Ark of the Covenant itself was overlaid with the same chemicals of orgone, of course higher quality because they use gold, and we're using a cheaper resin. But it's the same. He used the same thing back then, and the Israelites often did things to protect themselves. They had to look upon the snake on the staff to be healed, their sicknesses. They put blood on their doorposts, often told to act. Get up and act. Get up and do something. You're going to have to do something besides, people pray for answers, and He gives them to them, and then they scoff. They just laugh. They don't want to have to do anything. They want to go back to their couches. Take care of it, God. I have a TV show to watch. I don't want to have to get up and do anything. The Bible says the Lord's people will do exploits in the last days. And so He's given us this to use for protection and self-defense against the cell phone towers, against these chemtrails, against everything that's going on. So it's up to you to use it or not. We've been trying to get the word out on it for over a year, and, not all orgone is even, made the same way. The pagans will sabotage it. They reverse the coils in them. They add extra things in. They put cursed objects in them, and what theirs will do, the whole Don Croft crowd is attract evil. That whole crowd, which is pretty much oversaw and controlled by the NSA, and what their orgone will do is attract evil. And so we do it our way. We do it the way the Lord told us specifically to make it. And I have websites up on it at orgoneblasters.com, tearingdownstrongholds.com. My partner is still involved, Rhonda Zioli. She's making the orgone now. And we've got other people. The Lord has told me He's raising His servants up that are making it. And that's what's freeing me up so I can do other things, such as writing articles and starting this beast forum on the net, running another forum. I've already got 3 lists on the internet. Now I'm adding a forum to the mix. So I'm pretty busy. I'm sending people to help with things, and so that's what's going on with the orgone. If people are interested in why I'm not doing it personally, and I'm just spending time getting caught up on all the orders that I have. Yahweh said, "My sheep hear my voice, and they know me, and I know them." And I've gotten into some of these articles of mine on the net about how you can hear the Lord's voice. A lot of people say they can't hear the Lord's voice, and ask me to say a prayer for them, whatever. And all I'm doing is trying to teach you how you can hear it, because it's not something that the churches teach, but it's something that you can learn. That He has a still small voice. He speaks to your spirit, doesn't speak to your head. Like I said again, it's this elf technology that the military has, where the military can speak through your head, And it's so subtle that people believe it's God. You know, so when you're hearing a voice, you've got to consider the source, where that voice is coming from, your head or your heart, because the Lord speaks to your heart. I'm going to flip through some of this here. About 15 minutes left of the first half of this hour. Some of the things, important things I want to bring up. Another thing about, I can't warn enough about the coming alien invasion. June, July, August, could be even sooner. It's going to be massive. We're looking at, compared to what they're saying, and compared to what it could be, you're looking at hundreds, perhaps thousands of ships coming to our country, a real presence of aliens. People are going to see them. And that's another thing that this orgone will do, is keep them out of your yard, keep them out of your towns and countries that have orgone, because it's a positive energy source that they can't stand. And it's a living source. It's not a dead. It's something that keeps producing over and over again. And so you want to arm yourself with this stuff. I know some of you, hide under your beds and pray. That's okay. And the Lord's just going to tell you, hey, I told you what to do. Some of you are still going to suffer martyrdoms, suffer deaths, be taken to these camps during martial law. That's because you don't listen. You won't listen. I don't know how many times people will hassle me and join my list and then argue about the things I teach or the things I write about. It's like, well, why are you here on this list? Well, the Lord led me here. Well, don't you think it's, if He's leading you to my websites and my material, it doesn't stand to reason, folks, that He's trying to teach you something. So I'm not looking for arguments from people. I'll teach people, but I'm not debating and I'm not looking for arguments. I can see it on anybody on my list. If you want to argue me, you can go argue on somebody else's list. These are my places to hang my hat and sit back and relax. And I'm not going to defend myself. And, so if the Lord leads, learn. I'm not going to have to sit back and defend myself against this stuff. The angel of light right now, deceiving millions to the churches. I believe that when the church actually does elect, enough wakes up to where there is 144,000, that's when they'll be raptured up. Most of the churches today are whores and harlots involved with witchcrafts, idolatries, guile. 3 of the largest accusations against the churches today. And you can read about them in Revelation chapters 2 and 3 where it talks about the churches. And there's only 2 churches there that will even qualify to be part of the first fruits rapture. And then there's only 144,000. So think about that one, folks. Another thing is that, as far as getting together, getting land someplace you can go once all the madness starts. Like I said, once the Sananda arrives, Sananda's going to come as the false prophet. God is right around the corner. Not our God, but Satan. Because when Sananda comes, if he comes as a false prophet, he's the Son. He's the Messiah. And so what he's going to do is promote the arrival of his Father, of God. And, so they're going to come back to back, probably a couple months in between. Something I keep thinking and seeing, trying to place those two. And the others are just going to fall into place. The churches aren't teaching this stuff. You're not going to find it anywhere on the net or anywhere in the churches about them teaching this. I'll tell you a little bit about the 144,000, the first fruits rapture. It's been prophesied and written that in the last days the Lord would raise up an army of 144,000. And this 144,000 will go throughout the earth preaching His salvation, persuading the peoples of the earth not to join the global economy by getting a mark or a chip in their right hand or forehead. And they're going to be disrupting the global political and religious unified systems that have overtaken the world at that time.